My name is Richard Skolnick. I've spent many years working on the health of people in poor countries. I grew up in Dayton, Ohio, and hope that I still understand the interests of the American people. The Trump administration has essentially stopped all foreign aid for health, and I want to speak briefly with you about the disastrous impact of this action. First, it will lead to a large amount of hunger, illness, and death in the countries we've been helping. Next, it will lead to increases in the spread of disease within those countries, but also between those countries and us. It's easy to understand why these terrible health outcomes will occur. Our aid for health has been focused on basic issues like the health of mothers, the nutrition and health of children, and HIV, TB, and malaria. In addition, our aid in these areas has prevented millions of children from hunger and saved millions of lives. Our foreign aid for health also helps us work with other countries to fight against diseases like Ebola and bird flu. You also need to know that these achievements have been a good buy since foreign aid has been less than 1% of what our government spends, even though many people think it's a huge share of our budget. Marco Rubio, our Secretary of State, was a major supporter of foreign aid for health when he was a senator. He understands the positive impact of this aid and the terrible consequences of not supporting it. Secretary Rubio also understands that many USAID staff have devoted their lives to the needs of people in poor countries in a way that keeps us healthy too. In fact, more than 100 USAID workers have died in the line of duty supporting American interests. Of course, USAID could be more effective and more efficient. However, if reform were the administration's goal, it could easily put together an independent commission of fair and knowledgeable people to outline needed reforms and how they could be achieved. So, what can we do, especially since so many in Congress appear unwilling to stop the president from this disastrous action on foreign aid for health? Let's urgently start with 4 efforts. Every voting American needs to urgently call their senators and member of Congress and demand that they take immediate action to stop the destruction of USAID. We need to remind them that if they allow USAID to be destroyed, they will be responsible for the illness and death of millions of people who have counted on the US for support. Everyone who belongs to a faith group needs to urgently get that group to demand continued support for US foreign aid for health. Support for struggling people is at the heart of all faith groups, and many see the destruction of USAID as completely immoral. In addition, some faith groups have been major contractors to USAID, with Catholic Relief Services the largest of all. Everyone who is associated with Rotary International needs to urgently get their local Rotary Club to demand continued support of US foreign aid for health. Rotary has been deeply involved with the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, which will be severely harmed by the stopping of US aid for health. Everyone also needs to make this terrible tragedy as real as possible for their community. When you see videos of babies born with HIV who would have been fine if we had continued our aid, please share them. When you see pictures of people dying of TB because the US has stopped support for their drugs, please share them as well. US aid and other foreign assistance for health can be improved. However, they must urgently be allowed to continue to save lives overseas and to make Americans healthy as well.